Hey, this is Frank Nieto with Vision Quest Auto, and today we're reviewing this car, the 2025 GMC Hummer EV. And this is a really interesting vehicle. We've had a lot of vehicles come back to life, brands coming back, names coming back, notably the Bronco was one that was brought back. We've had the Maverick name returned. We've had the Blazer come back, and they've come back in sometimes the same form like the Bronco, or slightly different forms like the Blazer or the Maverick, which is a completely different form and just an old name that Ford revived. GM, though, here did something interesting. One, they made the Hummer a GMC vehicle. It was not. If you remember, the H2, the H3 Hummers were their own brands, spinning off from the H1 Hummer, which is essentially a civilian version of a military vehicle. But this is a spin-off of those cars. And the interesting thing that GM did with this is not only did they make it a GMC, which gave that the more upscale truck and SUV division in General Motors. So if you get a GMC, it tends to be a little bit nicer than the Chevy version of that vehicle. But this is its own thing. They brought that in, and the other thing that they did that was most interesting is, of course, when I said this is the GMC Hummer EV. That's something that was really cool that GM did, because the Hummer, that H2 and H3 Hummers, were really known as the gas-guzzling vehicles of that late 90s, early 2000s, where they were getting no miles per gallon, essentially. You're talking, something like way under 20, even way under 15 miles per gallon, terrible gas mileage. So GM decided to bring the Hummer back, but in a version that's essentially, depending, we can talk back and forth about how environmentally friendly EVs aren't, but they do tend to get, we're talking about like getting far better mileage per kilowatt, whatever you want to factor that into, but they've made it, quote unquote, more environmentally friendly by making it an EV, and it's a really interesting choice. The big thing, though, that I'm not going to get into the environmental aspects, really. That's not my deal. But the thing that I really like about this car, though, is that it's GM's halo car. And by that, does it have every single feature that GM offers? It also has every feature that GM could conceivably be offering going forward. In the future, some of these options may or may not make it into production for other vehicles, but it's really everything that GM has out there. And so it's a halo car. It's pretty cool. It literally throws everything out there. Because of that, this is not really designed to be a car that's going to be selling a ton of vehicles. This isn't that kind of vehicle that GM's aiming for. I mean, they would love if everybody bought one, I'm sure, but this is really there to showcase their technology and what they can do, I think, especially when you see the price tag. This particular model starts at about $108,000. When you add on that off-road package that it comes with, that's $118,000. So a lot of money. And is it worth it? That's something we're going to talk about. How does it drive? We'll talk about that as well, and then we'll break this into our categories. What we like, what we don't like, how it drives, how it feels, and all the good stuff. So let's get to it. All right, so gonna do a walkthrough here while it's very cold and windy, so hopefully that doesn't pick up here on this video. But I want to show you how cool this is and how much, this is definitely not an H2 or H3 or H1 Hummer, clearly. But what it is it is an EV that does the Hummer name proud. I mean, it has that same look, it has the same feel, and we'll talk about that. Actually, it doesn't have the same feel. We're going to talk about how that goes in a little bit, but I want to walk through here. It's got these classic tow hooks, which are very functional and just look iconic. It's got similar headlights to what you would find in the classic Hummers. Very, very much a classic look. The one thing that's massively different that is super cool is these lights go all the way across, and I'll try to get some video to include in here in this review, but during this walkthrough, I just want to point these out, and of course, if you get up close, you see it spells out Hummer EV, and has that Hummer logo, the H on each of the lights there. You got your GMC logo down there. I'll come back to show you the frunk, which is actually not the official name that GMC gives that. We'll talk about that later as well. You got these big beefy tires, massive clearance. This is helped by this off-road package. As you can tell, it's got the hydraulics that are part of that crab walk, which is really cool. And we'll try to get some of that as well to include here. Got these steps. Again, classic styling. One thing that's really cool that I want to point out is you got the American flag there, kind of going for that similar feel. It's got a military heritage, not this version, not the H2, not the H3, but the H1, of course, has links back to military use. So, GM including that was kind of a nice touch. These come off. It's way too cold to take these off, but I've taken them off before in the Hummer pickup that I had, the Hummer EV pickup, and they pop off really easily. In fact, far easier than even the Bronco and the Wrangler. So really great job by GM to get those on and off. Come back here, got your spare tire on the back, got a Swinggate. We'll show that in a minute here after I complete the walkthrough. Again, GMC badging. You've got your tow hitch and you've got your hook as well. Back here, of course, it's got a power trunk here. And, it's obviously not as much space as you would expect, but it's actually quite a lot of space here. Again, if you're looking at this from the side, you might be like, oh, wow, that front trunk's going to be massive. It's big. It's not massive. It is pretty deep. It's got 4 bags for each of the roof pieces. I don't think they're going to fit in here, though. That's one thing. I haven't tried that. I know that when I did it in the Hummer EV pickup, I couldn't fit them in here. So I'm just going to say, I don't think you can fit them. You can fit 1 or 2. I don't think you're going to be hard pressed to put 4. You're going to want to put them in the back there. But still, good amount of storage space for sure. I mean, that's bigger than most frunks, which is pretty cool. The one thing you have up here is you've got your window washer fluid. So that's about it. You do have a light. And one of the, you got some tie downs in here, which is kind of a cool feature. The one thing I think is funny is you do have in case you get trapped in here, you can push the button to escape. Always cracks me up. It is a regulation, but I don't, this is a lot of space. I don't think this is a big enough space for somebody to trap themselves in and they need to hit that button to get out. But hey, there you go. It is in there. We're going to watch this go back down now. We're going to come around the back and I'm going to show you how this opens as well. One of the cool things is you can also do it from the key fob, of course, but you can also do it from the My GMC app. But you can just hit this button here and it swings out, which is pretty neat. There's not a ton of swing gates in vehicles anymore. There's a handful out there. I don't think there's any other with a power swing gate, which is a cool feature. One of the Easter eggs, I got my equipment back here as usual. We got a charger here. You do have your automatic, your power rear seats drop here. You've got some tie downs. You've got a household outlet right there. It's got this little Easter egg thing, with a map. Kind of cool. Not a lot of under storage space here. I'm going to lift this up. It's kind of heavy. Really just enough for some tow stuff. That's about it. Not a ton. One thing that's interesting though is that if you really look at this is kind of a 3-row SUV without the 3rd row. So there's a lot of storage space back here. Just a lot of this room is taken up by that battery. as you would expect. I'm going to show you these drop down so you can get even more space. There it is. That's a lot of space back here. So very wide, of course, wider than most vehicles out there. And then you've got that storage space inside as well, you know, that goes deep as well. Come back here, and you hit this button, of course, and it closes. It's pretty cool. I do like that the button's right there. It's not necessarily the most easily identifiable at first glance, but it is there. Another neat thing, I mean, this is done on Jeeps as well and Broncos, but there is your rear view camera. And I just want to point out, this does have, and I think this is part of the off-road package, but it does have this front camera as well. So it's right there. I have lifted these seats up. As I noted, you have to lift them back up by hand. Not a big deal, but that is something to just consider. Pretty stylish. This has got what I'd call a luxury utilitarian vibe. No, this is comfortable. It's got a, you know, leather inserts. This isn't really leather. This is like a leather insert. So it's a, you know, this is a leather insert. It's kind of got like this, looks like leather, but it's more of a cloth material. It feels nice. It's very comfortable. Stylish with that black and white aspect. Drop this down. Standard cup holders, armrest, nothing fancy. You know, you got your USB-C, USB-A. You've got your controlled, you know, your climate controls here, standard stuff. Heated seats. You know, little cubby here. It's nice. You know, nothing spectacular, but it's nice. One thing I do like that GM's done is that these are, you know, again, removable, but I like that they're darked out, that they're blacked out here. So it creates, you know, it's not going to be burning hot or anything. Keeps it nice and cool. You know, so yeah, it's pretty nice. These pop right off. These boom, boom, you know, 2 latches, pop it off. So very quick. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how to put this into crab walk. So right down here, you see this is the mode button. You can put it into your different driving modes. But right over here, there's a little icon of the Hummer with the wheels. And so what you do is you hold that in, and then you'll see it pop up here. Get this cool feature. And so this is a safety version. You release it, and it's in crab walk. And see, you get all that image there, and there's that little icon of a crab down there as well, just so it lets you know that you are in crab walk. You get the 360 view of the car, and you can put that, you can look at different versions of the car if you want. You can just get the front, you can get both wheels. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to show you what happens here from inside. We're turning the wheel, you can see the wheels turning. Now that's not a huge turn. That's what it looks like inside. And then if you put it into drive, I can just show you what happens here. And the way that it is, it's really not. It's more just a perpendicular type of thing. See, now you get a little bit, you can see a little bit of that rear wheel steering. See, there we go now. See that? Get a little bit. Now you're getting this car going a little bit. It's still going, you know, forward, but it's moving at an angle. So I think that there's this misunderstanding somewhat of what crab walk really is, and that it's that crab walk supposed to be this direct thing where it goes sideways. It doesn't quite. It makes it easier to maneuver in and out. So you can see those wheels turning a little bit. Get into this more, but you can tell that it's got the same kind of material that I was talking about on the seat here. So it's more durable. It looks nice, but it's not, you know, what you might expect for something that's, you know, 100 grand. It's got this nice insert, you know, it's plastic. It looks attractive with this gold. Again, you know, a lot of plastics, but it doesn't look cheap. And here's the front seats. Similar vibe. One cool thing is you get the Hummer EV etched in there. Just cool. Again, you know, grab handle right here. You know, Hummer EV right in here in plastic. This is plastic. You don't really feel that. I didn't even notice that this was plastic until I just looked at it now. I didn't even realize that was there. I've been driving in this and I haven't felt that at all. So that's cool that it's got that look, you know, and isn't going to hurt you. The GMC Hummer is a massive SUV, but the rear wheel steering that makes the crab walk possible comes in extremely handy, not only when maneuvering in and out of parking spots, but also when taking turns and helping to correct the steering. The hydraulic suspension that's also part of this system helps to smooth out bumps in the road. It doesn't feel like a sports car, but it also doesn't feel like the massive vehicle that it is. It's also very quiet. You'd expect this from an EV, but I wasn't expecting it from a vehicle that has a removable roof. Like other SUVs with removable roofs, namely the Ford Bronco and Jeep Wrangler, most of the GMC Hummer's expenses have been utilized on the driving and off-road mechanics. It's a six-figure machine, and the cabin is comfortable, and it doesn't look cheap, but it's not a luxury vehicle by any means. And that crosses over into how you really feel while you're driving this car, a sense of luxuriousness that you don't really get. And so when you're driving it, if you're looking for that feel, that luxury feel, you're not really going to get it. But if you're looking for that off-road and that technical feel, you're really going to get it. The crab walk driving mode is part of the four-wheel steer feature and gives drivers enhanced maneuverability by allowing them to move their vehicle diagonally at low speeds to help avoid obstacles and multi-point turns. It's a pretty discreet system from the outside, and you'll only know it's working if you looked at the rear wheels when they turn and when you see the Hummer moving diagonally. The other thing that you'll notice with this system is it does make distinct sounds, which is interesting about it. The crab walk has been engineered to allow the rear wheels of your vehicle to turn at the same angle as the front wheels, up to 10 degrees in either direction. This gives you the ability to drive diagonally at speeds below 20 miles an hour. So next category I want to break this vehicle down into is what song I think this is. First thing that came to my mind is the Michael Jackson song with his sister Janet Jackson, Scream. The reason why I went with that song is because known for is being the most expensive music video ever made. It was made in the 90s at a price of $7 million, is basically what they've estimated it cost. And that's because Michael Jackson really wanted to expand on what the music video genre could do. He went all out as far as adding different types of CGI, different special effects. Even the typography was really, you know, cutting edge. So it cost a lot of money. And I think that's the same thing that GM's done with this is they've gone all out. They put everything they have into this vehicle, every kind of feature, you know, we talked about. And so that's where I really come down to, you know, they wanted to push the market, the EV market as much as they can. That's where I'm looking at that. So that's what I think this car is. The song Scream, that's this car. Charging was another area that I had some issues with. I had it stop charging a few times. Now this was only in public stations, but it's worth noting. We're charging right now. Just want to note something that's kind of interesting that I've noticed with Ultium, and really not even just Ultium, I should say, but with the Hummer EV is, you know, it gives you all your information as you're charging. You know, that's completely not different from any other car. You know, it's giving you the percentage, giving you the time to complete, giving you, you know, your mile per hour range increase rate. This is on a little bit of a slower charger. It's 150 kilowatt. The two 350s here were taken up, or it just wasn't really a good spot for me to be able to get the Hummer into that. That's something else to consider if you're using a public charger. You know, there is a spot that was open but there was a car in the spot next to it. It was a little over a tiny bit because of the snow. I just wasn't going to be able to get into that spot. So, you know, something else to consider if you're driving a Hummer EV and you're using a public charger station is sometimes you might have to, you know, try to squeeze in or, you know, park along the side. Another thing that I thought is really cool there is right here, your station power. That's actually interesting. I've never seen that before. I think it's kind of cool. It's good information to have, you know. Obviously, if the station doesn't have a whole lot of power, it's not going to be great. So interesting. Okay, so here's something interesting about the GMC Hummer is that it, of course, has Google built in, but the interesting thing is, as you can see right here, it has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay also built in, and they're wireless or wired. GM is taking a departure away from CarPlay and Auto, so it's kind of cool that they have that in this one. And I don't know if that's a thing, if that's a sign of things to come, or if it's just this is maybe an older operating system in the car. So I don't know. We'll have to find out. So that concludes our review for this week. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you found this review enjoyable. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out. If you have any questions, again, you know, hey, drop a comment on this. If you have any questions about this car, anything I didn't answer in this review, just drop it into the comments and I'll be sure to answer your questions. So for Vision Quest Auto, this is Frank Nieto, and I'll catch you around.